It was a first half here at Giant Stadium dominated by the Giants. The defense playing up to what is now their normal standard. Tiki Barber with a big first half. Brandon Jacobs knocking it home. The only touchdown of the half, a 10-0 Giants lead. Second half coming up. We get ready to start this second half, and the Cowboys will start this half with a football. We talked about the Giants defense, and it's worth starting to talk about some of the stats. If you look at the NFL numbers, this is the number 24 defense. If you look at your efficiency ratings, this is the number 5 defense. This is a group that's getting turnovers, that's stopping teams on third downs. It is a defense to be reckoned with around the NFL.
Yeah, they're much better than what people think when they just look at NFL rankings because of those things that you just mentioned, and also because a lot of times teams have had a lot of plays against them, so they're going to accumulate some yardage. But what a job they've done here in the first half. I'm very impressed. When you think back to the first 3 games that they had of the season and how teams move the football against them, what they've been able to do the rest of the year in shutting people down, they're peaking at just the right time when you get into the last month of the season, and then hopefully for this team when you're talking about getting into the playoffs.
Look at the fantasy update. Eli Manning, Tiki Barber, 46 yards. Tim Carter had 48 yards on 2 catches. The speed threat on the outside. Manning did throw 1 pick, his 11th of the season. Taking it on a bounce is Thompson. And guess who makes the tackle? David Tyree. 16-yard line. That's where the Cowboys will start with it to begin this second half. And in the first half, their possessions were awful. 10-play drive resulted in a punt. 3-play drive -4 yards. 3-play drive -5. 3-play drive -5.
Yeah, and the 10-play drive that they began the game with was really more the result of the penalties that we saw that kept drives alive. So this Giants defense has really made a statement here early in this game.
On first down, what great pressure as the ball comes free. Touchdown Pierce. It was Kendrick Clancy who on the snap just went right through the offensive line and was basically waiting there for the handoff from Bledsoe.
It was unbelievable. You would have thought that that's who was supposed to get the ball. He was in the backfield so fast. He absolutely drove, it appeared, Al Johnson. You take a look right here. Actually, Andre Gerard, now in at center, drives him completely back. And the reason Andre Gerard's in the game is because he's the bigger center of the two, so that those types of things won't happen. Great anticipation and movement there by Kendrick Clancy.
Wow. Wow. Any question as to how this Giants team would respond after a heartbreaking loss last week in Seattle? Those questions have been answered. Antonio Pierce gets the defensive touchdown on the fumble recovery, and it's 17-0 New York.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Well, it was a touchdown forced by the pressure, and it's been relentless pressure all day by Kendrick Clancy. On the handoff from Bledsoe, he never got the ball to Julius Jones, and Antonio Pierce, who's developed into a leader on this defense, was there to pick it up and run it in.
Yeah, you watch Kendrick Clancy. He's going to be in the gap, and he's coming through here, and Andre Gerard cannot get in front of him in order to slow him down. They're slanting there to the defensive left. Now what you're going to see is Kendrick Clancy, after he gets by Gerard, he actually grabs Drew Bledsoe's left arm, which keeps him then from being able to get the ball into Julius Jones's pocket. The Cowboys were running a stretch play. It's a wider hitting running play, and the quarterback has to be able to get the ball out into the pocket. By Clancy grabbing his left arm, he was unable to do that.
It's like Indianapolis is on their way to a 12-0 start as Julius Jones gets it, and Jones goes nowhere. gets 1 yard. Antonio Pierce makes the stop. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, Bill Parcells wasn't all that thrilled at halftime. Just imagine what he's thinking now. Abysmal is the word that he used to describe the Cowboys offense. He said, we didn't show up and we have no chance if we don't start playing better. Tom Coughlin, but nothing but praise for his defense, as well as Dallas's defense. He says, man, those guys are tough in what he calls the green zone. Coughlin is encouraging the crowd to stay involved in this ball game. He said, we need that noise.
2nd down and 9. Thank you, Pam. Bledsoe. Glenn. That is his first catch of the day. And it comes at a big time for the Cowboys as they try to get back into it. 22 yards and their longest play from scrimmage all afternoon.
And that's the one guy that really concerns Tim Lewis, because he has the ability to change the game because of his speed. And they were able to get him along the sideline, but Drew Bledsoe, for really one of the few times today, had time in the pocket and had time to be able to find somebody open.
Strahan comes off the field. Nice catch by Terry Glenn, and now a blitz from the Giants. Cowboys pick it up, and Glenn has 2 in a row. This time it's good for 9 yards.
And you can see now the Cowboys are starting to get in and out of the huddle a little bit faster, more of a sense of urgency. I thought coming out in the second half that first possession defensively for the Giants was going to be a real important possession in terms of making a statement. Well, they sure did with the turnover and touchdown.
Strahan was holding his hand on the sideline a moment ago, and that's why he came out. He's back in. 2nd down and a long one. It's Julius Jones. 1st down, Dallas. And the umpire was just happy to get out of that play without breaking a leg. Tackled by Bryson, a gain of 6 and a 1st down for the Cowboys.
Well, the Cowboys going to what basically you call a sugar huddle. They're only lining up about 5 yards from the ball, and they do that in an attempt to conserve time. They realize right now, down 17 points, every possession matters, and they want to get as many possessions in the game as they can possibly get.
A blitz again from the Giants. It was Pierce coming through, and it's Bryson on the tackle, along with Strahan, a gain of 2 by Julius Jones. You talked about this earlier, though. I know the Cowboys are moving the ball the last few plays, but they're now in that position where that running game, which they just continually try to pound, is for the most part taken out of it until they can get on the scoreboard and get back into this game.
Yeah, I think that Bill Parcells is still going to try to run the football, doesn't want to get away from it completely. He knows that this line can get pressure on Bledsoe, and he doesn't want him sitting back there like a sitting duck the rest of this half.
Handoff is to Jones. Julius Jones breaks it and has a 1st down for Dallas at the Giants' 20-yard line. An 11-yard run, and Alexander on the stop for New York.
I know Julius Jones, he's been very frustrated after coming back from his high ankle injury, and he's been frustrated that he just hasn't been able to remain very durable, not only this season but last season as well. But he hasn't yet had that big breakout game. He's been close a couple of times, but he's still looking for his first 100-yard game of the season.
Just over halfway there. And that's going to be a false start in essence, because Witten was turning around, checking with Julius Jones. Witten had his back turned to the line of scrimmage as he was talking to Jones when it was snapped.
You got to believe that Drew Bledsoe was changing the play. It's awfully loud, as we said, down on the field.
For illegal motion on 82. His feet were set. He was simply turning forward. He was the only one moving. It's 2nd down.
Well, he's going to turn and try to communicate something to Julius Jones. He says his feet were stationary. He's looking at a different ball game.
So that's a missed call. Julius Jones, you see his eyes widen as he tried to communicate with Witten, and the Cowboys were fortunate that 5 yards weren't marked off against them. On 2nd and 10, Julius Jones gets it and takes it to the 16-yard line. Picked up 4. Pierce on the stop. Emmons in there as well, and it was Antonio Pierce last week when the Giants slumped off the field and went into their dressing room that started to look ahead. There's a guy who stood up and said, we got a big one in our house next week, and he has been front and center in his first year with the Giants this week and all year as he's turned into a leader for Tim Lewis. 3rd and 6. Bledsoe underneath, penalty flag. As Keyshawn Johnson could not haul it in. Pierce was on the coverage, and this flag is in the area of a hold. If they decline it, it's 4th down, and I would imagine that's what they'll do.
Illegal hands to the face, number 79, defense. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
That's Rob Petitti.
Yeah, 79 offenses. You know, Rob Petitti, the rookie whose 7th-round pick, has been starting every game for the Dallas Cowboys. Grew up about 50 miles here from Giant Stadium, playing here for the first time, and excited about being here in front of his family. Comes down with a penalty, but does not hurt the team because the Giants decline it.
So here's Cundiff. This is our first field goal attempt to this end of the field, and during pregame warm-ups, the kickers were having trouble with distance going this direction. This is only 34 yards. Kicking into the wind is Cundiff. He missed from this distance in the 4th quarter against Denver on Thanksgiving. This time he hits, and the Cowboys are on the board at 17-3. Cundiff is good, and the Giants lead is 14.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Saturn.
Well, it's a start for the Dallas Cowboys. Trying to get back in this game. They're down by 14. A defensive touchdown by the Giants right at the beginning of this second half, and then a pretty good drive that was capped on the 34-yard field goal by Cundiff. He kicks it away, Wind holds it up, and it's Morton on the return. Out to the 34. We'll take a break, come back. When we reappear, Eli Manning will be on the field for the Giants as they lead. Hey, he's there now. They're up by 14. It's like an imaginary force field around Bill Parcells on the sideline. Nobody wants to get close to him right now with his Cowboys down by 14. A little glimmer of hope after that last possession. And Manning's going to start with a throw and try to get it to his fullback, Jim Finn. Off his fingertips, 2nd and 10. So you've got Parcells. Tom Coughlin used to coach for Bill Parcells and was part of that Super Bowl 25 win back in the 1990 season. Coughlin was with these Giants from 88 to 90, coached the wide receivers. Nobody looks to be too close to him either.
I don't blame him.
2nd down and 10. Tiki Barber, nice tackle in the backfield. That's the rookie DeMarcus Ware.
You know, you see this a few times when you go back and you look at games that the Dallas Cowboys have played, and you know, for whatever reason, sometimes they just don't block DeMarcus Ware, which is
it's good if you're DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah, I mean, and you get free runs at quarterbacks or free runs at running backs, but you know, obviously a breakdown in blocking scheme there for the Giants, because there's not a blocking scheme in their playbook, I can assure you, that doesn't account for DeMarcus Ware.
Barber lost a yard. It's 3rd and 11. Cowboys need a stop. They flush Manning out of the pocket, and he throws it away. Burress, the closest one to it. And a good series by the Dallas defense to force it 3 and out right after Cundiff put him on the board.
And right after they didn't put anybody on DeMarcus Ware, this time they put 2 people on him, and Luke Pettigrew and Jim Finn. And you know, you can see the speed there of DeMarcus Ware, and he's running Eli Manning out of the pocket. And you're right, a good possession there for this defense in forcing a punt and now giving the Cowboys good field position.
That's what they should end up with, is Terrence Newman is back to return the punt. Fearless Price had been doing it while Creighton was injured. Price was released, and Newman with a fair catch at his own 23. Cowboys have the ball down by 14 points, 9 to go in the 3rd quarter. Some patriotic ink on the right bicep of Jeremy Shockey, who to this point has just the 1 catch.
They got him involved early there on their first possession, and since that time they've not been able to. I've always felt they need to get him involved as much as possible.
Julius Jones on the check down, and you name it. Emmons, Pierce, they were both there. A gain of 4. Let's look back. Frustration on the part of Drew Bledsoe, who has 47 yards through the air. Brandon Jacobs, the only offensive touchdown that we've seen today. Here's a defensive touchdown by the Giants to go along with their 86 yards allowed. And it's 17-3 with 8.5 to go in the third quarter. 2nd and 6. Julius Jones hit the hole hard. And Jones is going to be brought down right at the marker. Fred Robbins on the tackle.
Sorry, Joe. You know, you sense a little bit that after the defense got that touchdown that there was a little bit of a let up, and they let the Cowboys then on the next possession move the ball down and get the field goal. But, you know, we've seen it too many times, whether you're talking about the New York Giants or whether you're talking about any team in the league, where at some point the opponent that's down is going to make a game out of it. And so I think this is a very important possession defensively for the Giants in not allowing any more points.
Julius Jones got enough for a first down. And Julius Jones doesn't get much over the right side here. Nick Bryson brings him down. A gain of 1. A game break. Here's JB.
Hey, JB, Vikings have won 7 straight against the Lions, angling for 8. Brad Johnson has a nice thing going with Michael Bennett. Bennett's 2nd touchdown of the day. 21-6 Minnesota. Minnesota staring at 5-0 with Brad Johnson at the helm. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB. That could make some ex-quarterbacks think about getting back down on the field.
Wonder who those would be.
2nd down and 9. Julius Jones, a nice catch. The throw was high, and Jones, big run. Inside Giants territory, down to the 41-yard line, a 25-yard pickup for Julius Jones.
You know, when you see the Cowboys, they continually show urgency in and out of the huddle and how they're going about executing right now ever since that first possession when they did give up the touchdown. Now they get the ball into the hands of Julius Jones on a swing pass in space. They got blockers out in front of him, but the Giants have got to get him on the ground. You saw him run through 2 tacklers that should have kept him from gaining about an extra 15 yards.
Carlos Emmons slow to get up. We take a break. Cowboys on the move again. Well, this officiating crew missed one. A block in the back by Keyshawn Johnson on Brent Alexander, who was coming in early on that play to make a tackle on Julius Jones. And you can see those eyes darting around. Keyshawn wondering if anybody saw it. They didn't. A 25-yard catch and run, and now a 2-yard carry by Julius Jones to bring up 2nd and 8.
We talked a little bit about it as to where these Cowboys are huddling up and how they're breaking the huddle. You look at the clock there, and 20 seconds on the play clock, and you know, as I said, they know that they want to take advantage of every possession they get, and they want to maximize those possessions.
Pass too far out of the reach of Witten. 3rd and 8. And anything they can do, Troy, I would imagine, to keep this Giants defense breathing hard. They're playing fast. They're coming to the line. They're trying to force the issue. Just trying somehow to get a break against this relentless defense.
Well, yeah, and this is a big 3rd down. The Giants have done a good job defensively on 3rd down. You stop them here. You keep them from trying a field goal. They convert. Obviously, they keep the drive alive and potentially turn this into a 1-possession game.
3rd down and 8. Bledsoe gonna go down. That's Strahan. 8.5 for Strahan. 11 on the year for his partner Human Yura.
I know Rob Petiti talked about when he went against Michael Strahan the first time. He couldn't believe the strength and the quickness that Michael Strahan possessed. This time he uses his quickness and speed, gets on the edge on Petiti, and once that happens, nobody's able to lower their shoulder and come underneath that block and get to the quarterback better than Strahan.
Now the punt from McBriar, who tips the nose of the ball down and kicks it end over end. And Morton is just happy to haul it in at the 10.
Well, we've seen that a couple times with this end over end punt.
Michael Strahan, the 13-year pro, tied for number 10 on the all-time sack list in NFL history. with that sack. Not only did it stop the drive for the Cowboys, but Michael Strahan now has 126.5 career sacks, tying him with Derek Thomas, a longtime Kansas City Chief, for number 10 on the all-time sack list. Tiki Barber gets back to the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, it means that Strahan is now 6 sacks shy of Lawrence Taylor, who is the franchise leader in that category for the Giants.
Well, and when you talk about Michael Strahan and the fact that most of the time, now he wasn't there on that last play, but most of the time throughout his career, he's getting double teamed. And so for him to continually put up the numbers that he puts up on an annual basis with that kind of attention is very impressive.
Second down and 10. Pass complete to the fullback Finn, and Jim Finn is out to the 15-yard line, 5 yards shy of a first down. Brought down by Brady James.
You know, I thought it was interesting when we look at Jim Finn, and in talking with Tiki Barber, what Jim Finn, you know, means to this offense, and he's gotten more involved in the passing game in recent weeks, but Tiki Barber says he really credits him with all of his success as a runner. Jim Finn was a tailback until he got to the New York Giants. They converted him then to fullback, and so he blocks through the eyes of a tailback, and that's been a real benefit for Tiki Barber.
Former Mr. Irrelevant, the '99 draft, selected by Chicago. Only fullback on this Giants roster. Manning steps up and he's picked off. It's Glenn again. Step right in front of Burress, and Aaron Glenn has 2 today as he has taken over for Anthony Henry, and now Glenn is down.
And that's a major injury because, as we talked about earlier, Anthony Henry did not even make the trip. So we take a look. Plexico Burress running the pivot route. He expected to be able to come back out towards the sideline. Eli Manning did not throw it out towards the sideline. He thought that Plexico was going to settle down there. Aaron Glenn makes a heck of a play on the ball for the interception.
Glenn at one time a Pro Bowl cornerback. Played for the Jets, and now at the age of 33, here he is in a huge game for the Cowboys, coming up with 2 interceptions today. Banged up as he limps off, and Dallas has that opportunity to close this score down.
Well, that's significant as far as the injury goes, because now if Aaron Glenn is unable to play, Jock Reeves, a second-year player who was serving as their nickel corner in today's game, would then become the number 2 guy. And now you're looking at Nate Jones, another second-year player who would have to be your nickel corner. Trying to match up those 2 guys against Plexico Burress, Amani Toomer, and Tim Carter could be a real challenge as we move through the rest of this game.
First down and goal for Dallas, down by 14. Glenn, touchdown. And just like that, with the extra point coming, the Cowboys can make this a 7-point game.
A pretty well-designed play by the Cowboys. They just get Glenn, who's going to go to the corner with speed, and Curtis DeLoach just couldn't run with him. You see Terry Glenn in motion, and now he immediately goes to the pylon, and Curtis DeLoach could not run with him, and a well-thrown ball by Drew Bledsoe.
For Glenn, his 5th touchdown of the season. It's 17-10. Drew Bledsoe with 238 career touchdown passes. His latest makes it a 7-point game at Giant Stadium. The interception by Aaron Glenn sets up the touchdown to Terry Glenn. They're hoping that Glenn's going to be able to go back on the field here in moments as the Giants are about to get it back. Glenn, this hit was on the receiving end of the 238th career touchdown pass from Bledsoe. He now moves in front of Jim Kelly, number 15 on the all-time list.
Well, he's been throwing the ball awfully well for a long time. Obviously, you have to in order to accumulate those types of numbers. We take a look at Plexico Burress. I got to tell you, whether Aaron Glenn gets on the field or not, if he does, or if they have to put in Jock Reeves to replace him, if I'm the New York Giants, I'm going after that corner immediately.
Still 3:52 to go in this third quarter. Morton on the return. Gives the Giants great field position. Out just shy of the 39. It was Aaron Glenn first. Down inside the 10. And then Terry Glenn, perfect throw from Drew Bledsoe.
You know, I will say, in watching Eli Manning and Plexico Burress, there seems to be a lot of times during the course of a game where they're not on the same page. Right now, we got Aaron Glenn on Tim Carter.
See if Manning looks that way. He does. Carter, past Glenn. Carter with a reception, and now he drops it. On his way to the ground, he lost it, and that's an incompletion. They went right after Glenn. Carter got behind him and then dropped it.
Yeah, how's that ankle feel now? All of a sudden you got to run with one of the fastest guys in the National Football League, and all he's got to do is hold on to it. The rule states that while you're going to the ground, you have to maintain possession. A perfectly thrown ball by Eli Manning, and they were not able to capitalize on it.
Would have been a 52-yard completion, but within the act of the catch, going to the ground, he lost it. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. Now it's Burress across from Glenn. They hand to Barber. Tiki Barber pushes the pile forward for 3.
You know, you think back to that first game and all the turnovers that occurred. The Cowboys, they would tell you the reason that they didn't win the game by more was because they turned it over 4 times. The Giants, on the other hand, they would tell you the reason that they didn't win that game was because they turned it over 3 times within the red zone. Well, you go back and you look at what's happened in this game. Turnovers, obviously, a big story in what's happened.
3rd down and 7. Blitz. Giants pick it up, and Manning goes for Burress. And the flag. It was Glenn on the coverage, and let's see who it's against. It could go against Glenn. It could go against Burress. Glenn thinks it's against Burress.
Yeah, and I do too.
And it is. It's against the Giants.
I mean, all he's got to do is go up with his body and not get into tangling up with Aaron Glenn and pushing on him. Had he have just gone up and tried to make a play on the ball instead of the push there at the end. Of course, he didn't catch the ball anyway.
Number 17, offense. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
So it's another 3 and out with a couple of missed chances in there for New York. Mainly that drop on what would have been a 52-yard completion to Tim Carter. So here's another punt. There's still over 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. And the Cowboys are about to get it back down by 7. Good punt by Fiegels. Newman, the 14. Terrence Newman. And it's Fiegels who wrestles him out. A terrific return by Terrence Newman. 26 yards. And great field position with the ball just inside their own 40 for the Cowboys.
Yeah, once Terrence Newman got this ball and you see the field that he has to work with, it looked pretty dangerous. He had guys out in front of him blocking. You know, good field position now for the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, the Giants, they had great field position on their last possession, failed to do anything with it. But now this Giants defense is going to have to step up.
Now Antonio Pierce is down on a knee and having a tough time getting back to his feet. The guy who anchors the middle of this defense for the Giants.
Well, it appears looking at him like he's got some type of cramps within his calves.
Let's say this. The recent history of the NFC East here in 2005 should have told us this was going to be a tight game before it was over. A 26-yard punt return, the longest punt return of the year for the Cowboys. At stake, first place in the NFC East, and as we told you, Dallas won the previous meeting. So if they win today, they would have in essence a 2-game lead over the Giants because of head-to-head play. Pass is complete. Keyshawn Johnson. Good for 8. And on the other end of it, then you start looking at the wild card for the Giants. And amazingly, if the Minnesota Vikings hang on, they're leading big over Detroit. Now the Giants fall behind even the Minnesota Vikings in the wild card race in the NFC. Now Fassler getting up to the line. 2nd down and 2. Handoff is to Jones. He picks up 1. Umanura on the tackle. It's 3rd and 1.
You know, and when the Cowboys were able to go down there and score that touchdown to cut this to a 1-possession game, the pressure then is on the New York Giants. And the longer this game goes, and the longer it goes as a 1-possession game, the more pressure there is going to be on the Giants, because as we said coming into this game, the Giants realize that in order to have any chance to win this division, they have to win this game today.
3rd down and 1. Barber, 1st down Dallas. The rookie Marion Barber picks up 5.
Marion Barber is a guy for them as a rookie that has contributed greatly here over the last 4 to 5 ball games. Bill Parcells really likes him, feels that he's an all-purpose type back. He runs well, he catches well, he also is a good blocker. They like to get him about 10 to 12 carries a game.
Julius Jones back in there. 1st down for Dallas. Bledsoe rolling to his right as he threw short for Keyshawn Johnson. 52 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. Fox tonight, don't miss a very special Viewer's Choice episode of Family Guy. You voted for it. Now tune in and check it out tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised.
A lot of the Fox shows are animations. I've noticed that. After 5 years, I've learned that.
Boy, you're quick. You can read a defense, but you can't figure that out. 2nd down and 10. Giants coming. Strahan again.
I also have realized that Strahan likes that move at the end of his sack dance. You're going to watch Strahan as he just bull rushes Rob Petiti, and because of the pressure on the other side by Umanura as well, it forces Bledsoe to step up, and that's why Strahan's able to get the sack. Defensively, they were one-on-one on the outside. Bledsoe thought he was going to get a big shot down the field. Protection didn't hold up.
3rd down and 15. Three-man rush. Bledsoe airs it out. Glenn underthrown, and it's picked off. James Butler, an extra defensive back, is downfield to haul it in, and the Giants will take over at their own 7. In essence, it's like a good punt, but the Cowboys were moving it down by 7, and the Giants get the interception.
Well, they get a little bit of pressure again in there on Drew Bledsoe, and you got 6 defensive backs in the game, and Butler being the 6th guy. An underthrown ball, and Terry Glenn then tries to come back and make a play on it, basically serving as the defensive back. But he's not able to, and a good job by Butler bringing in the interception.
A rookie free agent from Georgia Tech, his first career interception. 1st down from the 7. Last play of the 3rd quarter as Barber gets it out to the 10. 17-10, New York on top. Dallas Cowboys with a ton of momentum. The NFL on Fox will continue after this from your local Fox station. Audio slave to get you ready for this 4th quarter. 17-10 with the Giants out in front. 2nd down, New York. The ball at their own 10. Eli Manning throws incomplete in the direction of Shockey with pressure from Jason Ferguson. 3rd down and 7, and when the Dallas Cowboys offense came off the field, Bill Parcells moments ago was waiting for Rob Petitti.
I think Rob Petitti has gotten used to this interaction with Parcells, you know, all season long. And, you know, I had a chance to watch them practice on Thursday, and Rob Petitti was very upset with himself in the way that he practiced that day. And Bill Parcells was on him about like that during the course of that practice as well.
3rd down and 7. Manning with all day, hits Shockey for the 2nd time today, and a 1st down for the Giants.
Now they finally get Jeremy Shockey involved. On the previous play, they wanted to go to him. He felt like he was being held. You're going to see Jeremy as he goes across. Newman tries to hold him up, and they just turn him loose. Brady James, he's got to be the guy that picks up Shockey as he comes underneath, and that's a very similar route to where he had a lot of success in that first game there at the end of the 2nd half.
It took until the 1st minute of the 4th quarter for the Giants to get their first down of this half, as Tiki Barber carries it for 2.
You know, big interception by Butler, and now for the Giants, you know, you get into a game like this that, you know, has all the makings of a championship game, and every play, every possession becomes extremely vital. And as we saw with mistakes, Aaron Glenn making the interception on Eli Manning, every play becomes very important.
2nd down and 8. Pressure from Fujita, and the pass is picked off again. Intercepted by Keith Davis. And now a penalty flag comes down at the end of the play. They've got a pass interference call on the field, and if it's against the Dallas Cowboys, the Giants will keep the football. That's the way the players are reacting on the field as they stand around that huddle that the officials have at the New York 40.
Pass interference, number 26, defense, 1st down.
So Aaron Glenn, who has 2 interceptions today, is guilty of a pass interference, and the Giants keep the ball.
Well, they've been matching Aaron Glenn up with Plexico Burress throughout the day, and you know, it's hard to tell, to be quite honest with you, whether or not Aaron Glenn had his position on Plexico Burress, but there's no question Burress was trying to get by him and was grabbing Aaron Glenn probably as much as what Aaron Glenn was grabbing Burress.
It's a 15-yard penalty, but bigger than that, the Giants don't turn it over. Manning almost threw his 3rd interception, and now Tiki Barber somehow stays on his feet down inside the 35, and there's a face mask at the end of the play.
Well, how good is this guy? I mean, he finally gets a big crease right up the middle, and he takes it. And then you're going to see 2 guys converge on him. Roy Williams, instead of blocking him up high, and why he's going low with just a shoulder tackle is beyond me. He's 240 pounds, bigger than what Tiki Barber is.
There is no foul for a face mask. The defender's hand was on top of the helmet. It's 1st down.
But a great job of balance by Tiki Barber, being able to split that and keep on running. It's a little bit like what he was able to do last week against Seattle there in the overtime that put his team in a position to potentially win that ball game.
It was a good job of the officials getting together to pick up that flag. There was no face mask. Tiki Barber is now over 1,500 total yards for the season. That's Ward. And Derek Ward, a 2nd-year player, picks up 4 over the left side. It just seems like Tiki Barber, a couple of things, is good for one of those a game. He had one in overtime last week against Seattle. And on top of that, we went down this path earlier in the game. You keep waiting for him to wear out and wear down, and year after year he stays strong through the end of the season. He's amazing for a guy who's only 5'10", 200 pounds.
I wouldn't take him off the field until he does wear out.
Play action to him. Manning steps up and overthrows Shockey. Roy Williams had the coverage.
You know, Luke Pettigrew this past week was very embarrassed about his performance against Seattle. but you watch the job that he's doing against DeMarcus Ware, a great speed rusher. He's not getting any help, and he told us during the week that he was going to do a much better job. You wouldn't see that kind of performance again, and he really has. I mean, he's got his work cut out for him today. We talked about it early in the game, how that was going to be a big matchup for them offensively and providing some time for Eli Manning, and he has really answered the bell today.
It's 3rd down and 6. They're right at the edge of field goal range going in this direction. Manning incomplete. You know, if the question at the top of the day, Toomer had it go toward his knees. The question at the top of the day, Troy, was how would Eli Manning react in this game? The answer is barely passable because his quarterback rating's under 25. It looks like they may go for it here on 4th down. He's missing some receivers. He's thrown 2 interceptions, could have 3 on the day if not for the pass interference call.
And I think that's part of the concern with Eli Manning so far this season is the way that he has played early in games, which has then required him being able to make some heroic plays at the end of ball games to get his teams back in them.
A timeout called by the Giants. They'll talk about 4th down. Right now it appears they're going for it with a ball at their 30 of Dallas. The pregame warm-up is used not just for players to get loose, but also for special teams coaches to figure out what the range of the field goal kicker will be. This is a couple of yards outside the range that Feely showed in the pregame warm-up. And instead of a 48-yard field goal try, the Giants go for it on 4th and 6. Pass is incomplete, and there are no flags down. Shockey gets up with his palms to the sky, does not get a flag thrown as he was covered well by the Dallas defense, and the Cowboys get it. A turnover on downs. What a difference a half makes for this Dallas team as they get the ball back down by 7. Seven-point New York lead. Dallas will take over with the ball just inside their 30. Julius Jones. Nice run on 1st down, crosses the 35 to the 36 and back to the 4th down incompletion.
Yeah, you take a look at this 4th down play, and Eli Manning is going to get some pressure that forces him to get out. Now you're going to see Amani Toomer is going to be coming across, and he felt that he had a chance, and he definitely had a step on Terrence Newman, but because of Eli having to get flush to his right, trying to then locate him and get the ball across his body is almost impossible.
2nd down and 3 for Dallas. A toss to Jones. One-on-one with Umenyiora, and if that doesn't show you how fast O.C. Umenyiora is, what would?
Yeah, because he was fooled on the play. And as soon as Julius Jones got the ball, it looked like he was going to get a lot more than just 3 or 4 yards. And O.C. Umenyiora comes down and collapses, and then it's just a race to the edge. And you're right, that shows you the kind of speed that he has. Bob Whitfield, their backup tackle, he teases O.C. Umenyiora and says that he wears wide receiver cleats. Well, that's a good reason to wear them when you can run like that.
It saved a 1st down. It's 3rd down and 1. Just get the play away. Play action, Bledsoe. Coverage downfield and the pass incomplete. Terry Glenn, the intended receiver. And instead of running it on 3rd down and 1, the Cowboys try to air it out. Good coverage by Allen and Wilson, and it's 4th down.
Well, again, the job that this defensive line's doing, Kendrick Clancy in particular, he's working against Marco Rivera. He just drives him right back. And, you know, it's one thing to have pressure off the edges with Strahan and Umenyiora, but when a quarterback then cannot step up inside because of pressure from Clancy, that makes it almost impossible to deliver good throws.
McBriar hits an ugly punt, and it'll check up inside the 35. Tap down inches inside the 35-yard line. Decent field position after just a 27-yard punt from McBriar. You're not happy. Matt McBriar, who punted collegiately at Hawaii, was lit up by Parcells when he came back over to the bench after that 27-yard effort. He had been averaging 43.5 yards per punt before that, as Tiki Barber tries the right side, picks up 4 where Scott Fujita brought him down. The Giants have done nothing in this second half. Turned it over on downs, have had to punt twice, the interception, and Eli Manning has not had a good game any way you look at it.
Well, Eli, who likes to fancy himself as a fourth quarter quarterback, but this is a good time to start elevating his play.
2nd down and 6. And the pass, Burress the catch. Plexico Burress with a 1st down for the Giants, and the catch brings the ball inside the 45-yard line of the Cowboys.
I tell you, this is a good job by Plexico Burress. Watch how he comes back down the line and is able to make a play. He's got very strong hands. He doesn't wait for the ball to come into his body, and because he sticks his hands out and gets the ball as far away from him as he possibly can, he's able to make the reception. That's a route that he struggles with when he has to get out of breaks, but he does a good job on that one.
Detroit making it a game at home against Minnesota. Barber is flipped after he picks up a 1st down. Roy Williams on the stop. And I guess you could make the case, Troy, that Eli Manning, who has not established himself as a completely accurate passer to this point in his young NFL career, is fortunate to have the big athletes he has to throw to, the likes of Toomer, Shockey, and Burress out there to make up for some of those wobbly throws.
Yeah, we've seen this season some of the acrobatic receptions that Plexico Burress has made to create some big plays for them.
And off to Tiki Barber. And Barber picked up 1. Brought down by Brady James.
You know, I know in talking with Bill Parcells, we talked earlier about the relationship that he has with Tom Coughlin, and he said, I know Tom Coughlin, and I know that he's going to come into this game and he's going to try to pound the ball and be physical, because it's something that they failed to do in the first meeting. Part of that was because they didn't have the ball long enough, under 20 minutes. But so far today, they've been very balanced in their offensive attack.
2nd down and 9, a blitz from Dallas. Backpedaling as he throws high and out of the reach of Toomer. So even Amani Toomer at 6'3" could not haul that one in. It's 3rd and 9, and they are outside field goal range for Feely at this moment.
Yeah, and those are some of the plays that they've just not been able to make that are very important when you're talking about tight ball games. He's got a chance. Now he's got pressure. DeMarcus Ware bringing pressure, but that's not an overly difficult throw for a quarterback to make. Sometimes, as I said earlier, when you watch these receivers and Eli, they don't always seem to be on the same page as far as what each other is expecting from the other.
It would be a 51-yard field goal try from here. They passed on a 48-yard try the last time they had it, and trying to bite back some of those yards. They get it to Finn, and the fullback has a 1st down to the 18-yard line. Jim Finn with a big 15-yard catch and run.
Well, and when you get a receiving fullback like Jim Finn, it's such a good weapon for your offense. You get so concerned with Jeremy Shockey, Plexico Burress. You start in 3rd and long trying to get underneath those guys. Now you run Jim Finn, who generally is a blocking fullback, into the flat. He catches the ball well short, but because everybody was so far off him, he's still able to pick up the 1st down.
It's Tiki Barber down to the 16. You kind of got the feeling when that 3rd down play started that they were just hoping to get some yards to make the field goal attempt possible for Feely. We watched Jay Feely during the pregame warmup, and the edge of his field goal range going in this direction was 45 yards, so they had to get it to the 28. They needed 5 yards to pick that up, and in the process, Finn got enough for a 1st down. It's 2nd down and 8 here for the Giants. Play action. Manning nowhere to go with it. Going to have to eat it. And Manning is brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Jason Ferguson.
Yeah, they're trying to run a little bit of a double move to Plexico Burress. They got a Monty Toomer on the inside. Burress, as you're going to see, he's running on the outside. They go post, corner, post on the route. In order to throw that route, you've got to have a lot of time. The offensive line really did a pretty good job, but Eli Manning could have just airmailed that one right over the top of Plexico Burress's head. I don't think he lost any yards, though, getting down.
Only lost a couple to bring up 3rd down and 10. Hand off to Tiki Barber. And Barber gets it just inside the 15-yard line, and there again, they're trying to make it as easy as possible on Feely, coming off that week in Seattle, to make this a 2-possession game.
Yeah, and you know, they're in 3rd and long. They're in field goal range. They didn't want to take a chance on a turnover, something that we've seen a lot of from the Giants. I believe you said, Joe, 7 red zone turnovers this season. So they know that if they're able to come away with a field goal here, now you make it again a 2-possession game, and then the pressure goes off the Giants and back onto the Cowboys.
33-yard try for Feely. Feely hits the upright. He stood up in front of the press last week after the game in Seattle and said, "Bring it on." Apologized to his teammates. Promised he would make all attempts this week. He's 1 for 2, and it's still a 7-point game here at Giant Stadium. Feely adds to the drama here at Giant Stadium. A 7-point game with just over 5 to play. And a false start. Torrin Tucker.
False start, number 77. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
We go back to last week. 4 seconds remaining in regulation. Missing a 40-yarder was Feely. Uh-oh, says Jeremy Shockey. 10:48 left in OT. Misses a 54-yarder. Was short and short again on a 45-yard try. Coming into that, 23 of 25 in field goal attempts. He's 1 for 2 today. 1st and 15. Bledsoe. Bryson with the hit on Keyshawn Johnson, and he timed it perfectly.
Boy, that was awfully close. Yeah, Nick Bryson, he sees Keyshawn Johnson coming across on the crossing route, and take a look, see if he maybe got there just a little bit early. Look,
yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. I know Keyshawn Johnson, he's immediately looking for the flag when he gets up. Of course, he's always looking for the flag.
Bryson got away with one. It's 2nd down and 15. Bledsoe pulls it back in, hits Julius Jones. Will Allen on the stop. It's 3rd down coming up as Allen gets it out to the 26.
That was a good, sorry, Joe. That was a good play there for the Cowboys, at least being able to pick up some yardage and make it a manageable 3rd down. And you know, you think back to the decision there on 3rd down by the Giants, just running the draw to Tiki Barber. You know, I don't know, Tom Coughlin may be criticized when this game's over. I don't think that he should be. You can't call plays based on whether or not your kicker's going to make a field goal.
Missing on a 33-yard try. 3rd down today, 2 out of 11. 3rd down and 7. Bledsoe, his receiver fell down. That was Witten. There are no flags on the field. Incomplete. It's 4th down.
Jason Witten falls down. O.C.U. Manura was the guy back there in coverage. I mean, you see him out here right now. He goes with Jason Witten. I mean, you talk about a guy who can rush the passer and play the run, and now all of a sudden they've got him covering one of the best tight ends in football. A good thing he is wearing those wide receiver cleats.
Yeah, and you can see he got his feet tangled up with Witten. McBriar hits another duck, but it takes a good Cowboy bounce. So the Giants get the ball back. It's still a 7-point game, and back to work goes this Dallas defense. I think it's becoming more and more obvious every week why the Giants were unwilling to add O.C.U. Manura in that package to get Eli Manning. The Chargers wanted him. They didn't get him in that deal. And now the Giants boast probably the best defensive end combo in the game.
That's a great point, Joe, because Ernie Accorsi deserves all the credit in the world for that, because he said it is so hard to find guys that can rush the passer. We're not going to throw OC into that deal. They were able to get Eli and keep OC Umenyiora. And also, how about Ernie Accorsi bringing in Kendrick Clancy and the job that he's done today?
Handoff is to Tiki Barber, and he's out to the 24 and just beyond. Scott Fujita, first one there. Of course, he signed a one-year extension. He thought this might be it. Senior Vice President and General Manager, but with the passing of Wellington Mara, with the passing of Bob Tisch, with this organization needing some continuity going into next year, he said, I'll just forego all the drama and add another year to my deal.
He wants that Super Bowl ring, Joe, and he thinks he's assembled the talent, and I would agree with that can possibly get one, and he doesn't want to leave too early.
Cites Don Mattingly as an example. That's going to be 5 yards on the Giants. Might be Pettigrew.
False start, number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
5 last week, and that's his first today.
You know, this is such an important drive for the New York Giants, and you see Luke Pettigrew there on the end.
Just a little flinch.
Just enough, but you know, when you start talking about the good offensive football teams and what they're able to do with over 3 minutes to play, a one-possession game, this is the time that a good offensive team takes control of a game and drives the football down the field and takes time off the clock and either runs this thing completely out or they drive it down the field and they come away with points that basically put this game away.
After the false start, 2nd and 12. Trying to quiet this crowd down. Handoff out of the shotgun, Tiki Barber. Going to be brought down 2.5 yards short of a first down. Picked up 9. Fujita on the tackle.
You know, Tiki Barber, he said, all I ever want my offensive line to do is be a distraction to the defenders. And if they can do that, I'll find the crease. Watch that. It doesn't look like there's a lot there. But again, the linemen get a body on a body. Let Tiki Barber use his quickness, use his agility to find the hole in a big game.
3rd down and 3. Big 3rd down here in this game. Manning out of the shotgun, throws, and it's incomplete for Carter. He spun around, the pass a little behind him, couldn't haul it in, 4th down.
Well, that's another example of what I was talking about earlier as far as these receivers just not seeming to be on the same page with Eli Manning. Eli thought this ball was supposed to be thrown to the outside, or at least it seemed. Now, Tim Carter didn't even look like he was expecting the ball to get on him that fast. But, boy, what a critical play. And now giving the ball back to Dallas with plenty of time.
Plenty of time. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left and all 3 timeouts. Fiegels. Fair catch called for by Newman. And the ball will be placed down just inside the Dallas 34. In this second half, it started with a bang for the Giants defense. The touchdown from Pierce, who was forced by Clancy. But then the Dallas Cowboys went to work. That touchdown throw to Glenn. It's a 7-point game, and instead of it being 20-10, Feely missed from 33 yards. It's still 17-10, and the Cowboys have a chance.
Yeah, and with 2:38 left in the game, how big was that miss by Jay Feely that would have, as you said, Joe, made this a 10-point game? The defense has risen to the occasion all day, and they're going to be asked to do it again here.
On 1st down, Umenyiora was coming off the edge, and that pass incomplete. Patrick Creighton, the intended receiver, and the Giants were all over it.
I think one of the reasons why this Giants defense has been really so dominant, not just in today's game, but also going back over the last 5 to 6 weeks, basically ever since they last played Dallas there in Texas Stadium. They play very hard. They play very aggressively. They give a lot of different looks, but you always see a lot of bodies swarming to the football. Julius Jones
Nice play by Allen, Kendarick Allen, third-year player from LSU, with a quick tackle, a loss of 1.
That was really a good play because they want to take advantage of Osi Umenyiора's speed. He's going to come off the edge, and they think that because they let him go, that then you have Julius Jones, who had been serving as a chipper on Osi Umenyiora. But as you said, Allen being able to get out there, read it, and make a play.
Just before the 2-minute warning, Bledsoe on 3rd down and 11. Fires in the pass, intercepted. Tipped and picked off. Alexander with a ball in his hands might wrap it up for the Giants today. Tipped by Wilson into the arms of his safety partner, Brent Alexander. It's the 2-minute warning. 1:47 left. Giants get it back. The interception for Alexander is 4th of the year. 7-point Giant lead. Brent Alexander's been in the league for 12 years, and the 34-year-old just picked off his 4th of the season. And Troy, on a day when the Giants offense really didn't do much at all. Tim Lewis's defense has put this Giants team in a position to take the top spot in the NFC East with their effort today. The difference-making touchdown at this moment, as the Cowboys will spend their first timeout, is the defensive score by Antonio Pierce at the start of this second half. Timeout Dallas. They have 2 left. Last 4 times the Cowboys have had it, 2 punts, 2 interceptions. This Dallas team came into this game leading the NFL in time of possession. They've had the ball for 27 minutes today compared to the Giants 31 and counting.
Only the second time all year. Yeah, they've not controlled the time of possession.
One thing that Bill Parcells has been very proud of. Tiki Barber covers it with both arms. Brady James on the stop. Dallas takes their second timeout with 1:38 left to go. 3rd down, New York. It is 3rd down and 8. The Giants figure to hand it off again, at least you would think, force Dallas to use their final timeout and then ride their defense again. Giants up by 7. Well, they keep it on the ground. They're going to throw it, and the pass for Burress incomplete. So now the Dallas Cowboys get to keep a timeout. The clock is stopped with 1:33 left. And it's another incompletion thrown by Eli Manning.
Yeah, I think it was the right call, though, because if they complete this, they win the game. Game's over, and you got to be aggressive at times. That's the play we saw earlier in the game against Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's hobbling pretty good. They might have been able to just run right by him, but they tried that back shoulder fade route, and they just, again, were not able to complete it.
So the Cowboys will get it back here as Fiegels is set to punt. 3 and out for the Giants offense. Good punt on a line over the head of Newman, and it checks up inside the 5. There's your guy Fiegels again.
He's the best there is, best there's ever been, that puts him inside the 20.
In NFL history, he is the best ever at downing it inside the 20, and this one downed by David Tyree after a 49-yard punt. Fiegels has only punted 2 touchbacks all year. And with this effort by Tyree, the Cowboys will have to start this drive down 7 at their own 4.
Well, what a huge weapon when you got a punter like Jeff Fiegels, who just has a knack for being able to put the ball inside the 20, this time inside the 5. The Cowboys know what they've got to do in order to get back in this.
Bledsoe from his end zone throws for Glenn, and the pass, did he catch it? Incomplete. Great effort by Terry Glenn, who almost came down with an incredible catch. And there's no doubt that ball hit while it was in the hands of Glenn off the turf and changed direction. It's incomplete. Alexander and Butler were back there for the Giants.
You know, and the way the Giants are playing this prevent defense is really good. They've got all the receivers covered, and then they've got a 3-deep zone in behind it, which means you're going to have a hard time getting anything deep on the sideline. If they're going to complete anything, it's going to probably have to be down the middle of the field, which is what they almost got on that last play to Glenn.
Looks like we're going to have a booth review, but all that does is quiet down this crowd. Clearly that pass was incomplete, but the booth wants to look at it again. Terry Glenn did all he could. His fingertips off the ground. Obviously this call will stand. 2nd and 10 for Dallas.
We're reviewing the play to determine if it was an incomplete pass.
And it's really something that the league and Mike Pereira in particular wants to avoid. Stopping the clock, going under a booth review when clearly that pass was incomplete.
After reviewing the play, the receiver did not maintain control of the ball. Ruling on the field stands. It is an incomplete pass. It's 2nd down.
You know, a small point. Maybe it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but what that booth review did, the play clock was at 4. The Cowboys weren't even set up at the line of scrimmage. They have only 1 timeout remaining. And when they went to the booth review, it stopped all that. And a fresh play clock for the Cowboys. It still got down to 2, and Bledsoe fires short of Keyshawn Johnson. It's 3rd and 10. Pressure by Umenyiora.
Yeah, Umenyiora, he thought he was going to have to go cover somebody again. They finally got his attention. Antonio Pierce did, and then got him lined up to rush the passer, and he actually was able to get some pressure in the face of Drew Bledsoe.
2 more downs to try to get 10 yards and a fresh set of downs for this Dallas offense. They do have 1 timeout left. Circling Umenyiora. Strahan on the other end. Bledsoe fires. Julius Jones on the catch, and a 1st down for Dallas. Under a minute to go, and the clock still winding as the ball is placed down just outside the 17. Bledsoe will clock it. 50 seconds on the clock, and the Cowboys having to go almost the length of the field. They started this drive at their own 4.
Well, you pick up the 1st down there on 3rd down. That's gives your offense a whole nother set of downs to work with.
We welcome in a new audience, a defensive battle. The Giants defense has been overwhelming today for Dallas. Cowboys 1 timeout left, 50 seconds on the clock, down by 7. Bledsoe stays on his feet, now goes down. Brought down by Allen, a pickup of 3, and now Dallas will have to spend their final timeout. If you're just joining us, first place in the NFC East is on the line. The game could be considered bigger for the Giants because they have already lost to the Cowboys earlier in the season in October. A defensive touchdown by Antonio Pierce at the beginning of the 2nd half. Terry Glenn, a touchdown reception from Bledsoe, with a chance to basically make this a 2-point possession game for the Dallas Cowboys. Feely missed on a 33-yarder. Bledsoe threw an interception into the arms of Brent Alexander, but then the offense for the Giants unable to move the ball 3 and out. The Cowboys get it back, and now they have 40 seconds remaining. No timeouts left. We welcome in yet another audience. 3rd down and 7 here for Dallas. 40 seconds on the clock, down by 7. No timeouts left. First place in the NFC East on the line. Bledsoe to the sideline, and Julius Jones. The clock continues to run. Jabril Wilson brought him down with a strong tackle.
A mistake by Julius Jones. He caught the ball and was in position to get out of bounds, but he leaned forward rather than going out to the sideline. And that's what forced Drew Bledsoe then to have to clock the ball. They've already burned their last time out. And as you're going to see, the ball's completed to Julius Jones. He has time there to get out, but he didn't really know where he was, and the clock kept running.
Parcells, his frustration as Jones stayed in. Wilson brought him down. Now it's 2nd and 10 with 20 seconds to play. Bledsoe. Strahan with his arms around him. Incomplete. Witten the intended receiver, and it never got there. More pressure from Strahan, who has 2 sacks today.
You know, they're bringing 3 guys is all the Giants are rushing. Now, granted, they're pretty good guys that they're rushing with, but the coverage down the field is good. And so when you're dropping 8 guys, that becomes the challenge. Okay, as a quarterback, you've got time to throw the ball, but where am I going to throw it to? Drew Bledsoe given time to throw it. The one thing is he cannot create plays with his feet, so he's not able to run and pick up big yards.
It's 3rd down and 10. Pass to Johnson is broken up, and it was Deloach flashing in front of him. Now it's 4th and 10, only 10 seconds left. And with no timeouts on the clock, you know, you think about the way this game has unfolded, and maybe it's fitting that for the Giants, as they are 10 seconds away from moving into first place in the NFC East all by themselves, that their defense is out on the field.
And nobody feels comfortable right now. Tom Coughlin, 4th and 10 with 10 seconds left. You coach in this league long enough, you see a lot of strange things, but it comes down to this play here.
Again, a 3-man rush. They set up a screen. Julius Jones. How much time is this going to take off the clock? He stays in bounds. This game is over.
Just not very smart again by Julius Jones. He's got to know that if he can't score the touchdown, you got to get out of bounds before the 10 seconds is up to at least give your team a chance to throw the Hail Mary into the end zone. 2 critical mistakes by Julius Jones on that last possession.
And you can see the look on the face of Eli Manning, realizing that his defense, orchestrated by Tim Lewis, is the reason why the Giants now are on top in the NFC East at 8-4. The Dallas Cowboys 7-5, and they next have a date at home against Kansas City. The Giants, meanwhile, will travel to Philadelphia and will be there for a late game next week at Lincoln Financial Field.
Well, a big win, Joe, for the New York Giants coming into this game knowing that it was a must win if they were going to have any opportunity to win this division. My hat's off to Tom Coughlin and his coaching staff. They did not try to minimize the importance of this game coming in. They met it head on. They told their players what was at stake, and the players, more importantly the defense, rose to the occasion and gave themselves a big win.
Let's go down to the field and say hi to Pam Oliver.
With one of the stars of the game, O.C. Umenyiora, tell me a little bit about, I don't know, the game plan that Tim Lewis had coming into this sucker, because you guys executed it to perfection.
Man, Tim Lewis, outstanding defensive coordinator. We just knew that we had to come out here and execute. We knew they were going to come out and try to run the ball, and, you know, we shut them down. So, and we rushed the passer with Strahan. Strahan had an outstanding game. I was trying to get around the edge, and we did pretty well.
What's it like to be a part of such a special defensive end tandem? You guys are getting quite dangerous and a real force for the New York Giants.
You know, it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they expected me to come in this year and do exactly what I'm trying to do right now. Strahan's been doing it for 13 years right now, so I just hope we can keep this thing going.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot,
Let's go back upstairs to Joe. You got it.
All right, well, O.C. Umenyiora, who in his young years grew up in London and then ended up at Troy State, has become a force not just in the NFC, but here's a guy who has 11 sacks, his partner Strahan with 9.5, and this defense won the game today for the Giants. They survived a Jay Feely miss, and they will head into their game at Philadelphia next weekend all alone in the top spot, and credit them for bouncing back off that crushing defeat in Seattle to come back and win this game over Dallas today.
Just a real gutty performance by everybody involved, and when you talk about how well this defense has played, it certainly coincides with the emergence of O.C. Umenyiora there at defensive end.
Only 206 yards allowed today by the Giants defense. We'll take a break and we will come right back here. A relief for Tom Coughlin to get this victory today. For Dallas, their only touchdown came on a 7-yard drive, and for this Giants defense, 4 sacks, forced 4 turnovers, and scored a touchdown. Our UPS leaderboard on the heels of this victory for New York by 7 points. Eli Manning, not a good day. 12 of 31, 152 yards and 2 interceptions. Tiki Barber gets his 3rd straight 100-yard game, and Terry Glenn had the only touchdown for Dallas. Our Lunesta play of the game. right at the start of the second half. Clancy forced it. Antonio Pierce picked it up, ran it in. And then the defense for the Giants good enough to hold on to a 7-point victory. This is Joe Buck for Troy Aikman, Pam Oliver. So long from the Meadowlands. Once again, the final score 17-10. The Giants win it. They're in first place in the NFC East. The postgame show is coming up. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. Guys, it's all yours.
All right, folks, as we welcome you back to Los Angeles, what the New York Giants capitalize on the victory over the Dallas Cowboys to take sole possession of first place in the NFC East.
Bill Parcells and Coach Tom Coughlin of the Giants. Coughlin used to work for Bill. Watches as the rookie Brandon Jacobs from 1 yard out gets the Giants on the board, and the scoring started early. Giants up 7-0. Third quarter, Bledsoe trying to make a handoff to Jones, sacked by Kendrick Clancy. Ball pops out. Linebacker Antonio Pierce returns the fumble, 12 yards for a touchdown. Giants 17, Cowboys 10. That's your final.
So again, with the victory by the New York Giants, as I mentioned, they take over sole possession of first place, a game ahead now of Dallas. Washington and Philadelphia, of course, pulling up the rear, tied at 5-6. Giants, big one indeed. Green Bay and Chicago trying to turn the tide. Chicago had lost 11 straight at home to the Packers.
Favre, the tight end, Bubba Franks. Remember last week, Franks carted off the field with a concussion. This time he leaves with a stinger in his arm. Did not return out of this football game. Favre then is picked off in the end zone by Charles Tillman. Tillman returns it 95 yards. That led to a Bear field goal, and the score was Bears 9 and Green Bay 7. Nice job of running here. Then Brett Favre in the second half. Brett back under pressure. Guns this bad boy. Completes to Donald Lee, but gets his hand hit. Winces in pain. Winces? That's hard for me to say. Winces. All right, Brett, you're all right. Hang in there. Well, he did, but he shouldn't have. Brett then throws this football quick out behind Nathan Vasher there with his 7th pick of the season. Returns it 45 yards for a score. 19-7 Bears over the Green Bay Packers.
Sole possession of the NFC North. Vasher has played a big role indeed. And afterwards, Vasher with another big guy, Tony Siragusa.
Thanks, JB. We're here with Nathan Vasher. Nathan, the interception and run back for a touchdown to solidify the win today. It looks like you had a jump on it. Did you read something from Brett, or are you just playing your game?
Quick 3-step. Me and the nickel had a good read. Took the first to the flat, and Brett came out on the hot on the blitz and just took it to the house.
It seems like this defense gets better as the game goes on. I mean, how much better can this defense be?
We can be a whole lot better. We made a lot of mistakes today, but the most important thing is getting the win and just improving every week and not making the same mistakes.
Everybody talks about the defense, and I never see a defensive guy going and pointing a finger to the offense and just, you know, you guys play your game, they play their game. The locker room seems pretty solidified on this team.
Exactly. Those guys are running the ball. We did pretty good on special teams today, and it was just an overall team effort, and it was a big win in our division, and it's always good to beat the Pack.
Congratulations on the 8th win in a row.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Dick Duran, welcome to the sideline. First game as head coach of the Detroit Lions. Watches as Viking quarterback Brad Johnson, hoping to lead the Vikings to 5 straight victories in which he's been the starter. Hooks up with Corn Robinson, 80-yard touchdown, 7-3 Viking. Michael Bennett breaks tackle, gets in from 7 yards out, 14-3 now. And then in the second half, Johnson up, sets up, looks underneath, crossing route. Everybody drops deep. You throw it underneath, Jimmy. That's how it's done. Bennett from 5 yards out, 21-16. Vikings now 5 in a row. They take their record to 7-5 over the Lions.
8th straight victory by Minnesota over Detroit. Afterwards, little locker room sound with head coach Mike Tice.
All right, now look, the one thing I'm happy about is you guys battled in there in an ugly game and came out of here with a win. We came here for 2 things. We accomplished 1, right? We came in here to play well, probably really didn't, but we came in here to win, which was the most important thing, and we did that, did we not? Yep. We're now 7-5. We can only take care of one thing, and that's ourselves. We got the Rams next week at home, okay? Not to look ahead, but to look ahead a little bit. We got 3 of the next 4 at home. Home cooking. Gotta like that, right? Yep. Okay, but we got the Rams next week. All right, the Rams next week. We can't worry about anything else but the Rams. Now, we need to...
All right, so as Coach Tice said, they are now 7-5. Who would have thunk it?
I'm worried about the Rams.
You are?
He got my attention.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Rams.
Jimmy?
Well, you look at Minnesota, they're 7-5, and you know, they've got to think that they've got a shot because Chicago, when you only throw for 68 yards, Chicago is great at defense they're playing. They've got a 2-game lead over Minnesota, but Minnesota's got a much easier schedule, just like what Mike Tice said, 3 of the 4 at home.
Yeah, but 2 of those 3 are Pittsburgh at home and angry Pittsburgh, and you get Chicago at home the last game of the year. They've got a 2-game cushion in that division. They ran the ball effectively today. Chicago did force 4 turnovers. Big day for their defense. Typical Chicago win.
Yeah. Minnesota, though, Corin Robinson, Marcus Robinson, Bennett running the football. They now have a balanced attack, which really throws the defense off. So I think the Vikings, I was talking to Jimmy on one of our highlight shows. I said, you know what? Mike Tice right now has got to be considered for Coach of the Year. Our producer's laughing, Mike. I'm telling you, they can run the tables.
Hey, TB, even if they don't win the division in the NFC, they got a shot at wild card.
You got it.
With their schedule, they've got a shot at getting the wild card.
So, bottom line, if Terry is talking about the possibility of Mike Tice being a Coach of the Year candidate,
why not?
He certainly has at least saved his job.
What he's overcome, the way we were talking about him the first half of the year with all of their problems, they've done a great job at Minnesota.
No, I think he'll save his job.
No question about it.
Ziggy Wilf likes
Coach of the Year. What about Coach of the Year?
I don't know about that.
Why not?
We'll show you more highlights. Put playoff picture in perspective after this. Bowl season in college football comes to Fox. It'll be Texas Tech against Alabama in the
Cotton Bowl.
January 2nd, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on Fox. Texas Tech and Alabama ought to be outstanding.
Jake Delhomme getting into it a little bit there with D'Angelo Hall. I don't know about that, Jake. I'd keep my mouth shut. But he does find his man, Deshaun Foster, out of the backfield, 18-yard strike. And then a quick hitch out to Steve Smith. That's a ball I would not have thrown. Great job by Smith. 18-yard score. And this might bring in at the little diaper wipe on the ball. I don't know, Smitty. I don't think you should have done that. But who cares? 24-6 Panthers over the Atlanta Falcons.
All right, important victory because
Aaron Brooks and the Saints hosting the Bucs at Baton Rouge Tiger Stadium. Brooks intercepted by Rondé Barber. Returned 42 yards to the Saints. 42 Barber on the day. Ready? 3 interceptions. Then after another Rondé Barber interception, it's Chris Sims. Quick post. There it is. Joey Galloway, 30-yard score, 7-0 Tampa Bay. And then Saints driving for the tying touchdown. There's Brooks, guns it down to the skinny post, or call it what you want to call it. Rondé Barber picks it off. Your final, Tampa Bay 10 and the Saints 3. Tampa Bay takes their record now to 8-4.
All right, so as we take a look at the standings now in South Carolina, comfortably, well, I shouldn't say comfortably ahead because it's still tight there, but they're 9-3 ahead of Tampa Bay. Atlanta still in the wild card picture right now, looking impressive as we talk about that. A statement game indeed by Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a statement game by the Carolina defense. 5 sacks, 2 interceptions. There's a couple different ways people play Michael Vick. You play conservative, keep him in the pocket, don't rush the quarterback. Carolina got after it today. 5 sacks, hurried him a lot, pressed him. Yeah, they gained 120 yards rushing, but I think this was the kind of game that Carolina needs to play in the future. They get Tampa Bay next week at home.
Yeah, and how since John Fox has been at Carolina, you know, they've made their reputation on being a tough defensive team and running the football. They struggled so far running the football this year. Now they found their running back, Deshaun Foster, 24 carries, 131 yards.
Made a nice change.
Yeah, Deshaun Foster's now their running back.
No question about that. They made that move, and it's paid off. All right, folks, let's continue on with the highlights here. Talking about Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. TB, you called this one.
All right, Ben Roethlisberger, injured thumb on his throwing hand. Shoot, who would have known? Look at this. Guns this bad boy to Hines Ward. 20-yard score, and then the little icky shuffle. Yeah, okay, that's fine. 24-all, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Now, the Bengals hoping to finally take care of the Steelers at Heinz Field. On the ensuing kickoff, Tab Perry. Somebody going to bring him down or what? Takes it at the 3, then goes all the way 94 yards. That leads to a Rudy Johnson touchdown. And yes, indeed, 38-31 Cincinnati over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tennessee, Indianapolis Colts, Peyton Manning. Didn't even have to tell you who he was. Of course, I had to tell Howie. There it is, Howie. And that's Marvin Harrison on a little 10-yard strike.
Don't go there.
7-0 Colts.
Go there.
And then Andrew and James, it's just all good. Colts go to 12-0. Only the 5th team in history to go 12-0, 35-3 all over the Tennessee Titans.
All right, Jaguars with the victory over the Browns. Jags are 5-0 all time against the Browns in Cleveland. Folks, a wild finish in Miami. Take a look at Sage Rosenfeld hooking up there with Chris Chambers. You know what? These folks were down Miami 21-0 at one point. 6 seconds left to go in the game, and they come back to win it 24-23 over the Buffalo Bills. Bills were looking to win their first game on the road this season. Did not happen. And the Ravens upending the Texans 16-15. That's a final that the Ravens have now won 3 of the last 4 at home. Okay, let's turn to the coach first and get your thoughts.
Well, everybody's been talking NFC, Seattle Seahawks being the dominant team. They may be, but I don't know that anybody gets really carried away with Seattle. I think right now the team that's creeping up is the New York Giants. They've got it all offensively with Shockey, with Burress. Eli Manning did not have a great game, but you know he can do it. And then their defense is playing outstanding.
Yeah, the big thing is their defense has really stepped up. Indianapolis goes to 12-0. I got to tell you, a lot of comparisons between that undefeated Miami team. That Miami team won 14 regular season games. If Indy runs the table, they'll win 16. That Miami team beat 2 teams with a winning record. This Indianapolis team will beat. Well, you know what? If they go 16-0, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. That Peyton Manning's pretty darn good.
Yeah, pretty darn good. I'll tell you another team pretty darn good.
Coming around on that
is Tampa Bay winning on the road with young Chris Sims. Impressive. Carolina impressive. Now it looks like Giants, Carolina. Tampa Bay may now have moved ahead as they have. What do you smile at? I finally give a deep thought here, and you give me that giggle.
Scott Ackerson, our producer, has allowed just a little bit of time left. Hold on. Scott Ackerson has allowed a little bit of time left in the program to ask a significant question to close out the program. And the question is?
Final thought on the Lions. You got something you said you wanted to finish.
I don't know that Joey Harrington was Matt Millen's pick, and I bet he's at the office more than you think he is. And I think their first-round pick this year is a slow wide receiver who runs up the entire
That's another shot. What are you doing that for?
The guy from Villanova is awfully quick. For Jimmy, Howie, Terry, yours truly, JB. We'll see you next week right here on Fox.
Promotional consideration paid for by